Off-Grid News welcomes you to the news that's not fit to print. I'm Rob. CNN's trying to recover its reputation after the firing of its president, Jeff Zucker. Brian Stelter said, "This place is not perfect. It will never be perfect. We will always have flaws. We will always screw up. We will always have to run corrections. We will always have to keep working to make it a better and better and better every single day. That is the goal. We lost our leader this week, but we're not going anywhere." Leaving one man to say, "That's really good news, because we love it when Off-Grid News imitates Brian Stelter with that Mickey Mouse voice. I mean, Mr. Bill's voice. Oh no, Mr. Bill!" A subject is in jail and a stolen item recovered after a man uses technology to find his missing Polaris side by side. He said, "I got home from work and noticed the Polaris was missing from the driveway. I pulled out my phone and did a find my friend on it. Boom! After finding out where the missing Polaris was, I drove to the location, found a box van U-Haul, and my phone was saying it's at the same location as my Polaris. I called the police. They came and retrieved my Polaris from the U-Haul truck and found the guy who stole it. The suspect was arrested and taken away. And it was all made possible by using Apple AirTags. They're about the size of a quarter and can be hidden anywhere or on anything you want. Well, heck, I thought you used them to track pretty girls. You can use them for other things? Who knew? Hold on just a minute. The girl I'm tracking's on the move." Ottawa Mayor Jim Watson said protesters far outnumber police. Authorities are losing the battle against people that have camped out on Canada's capital for 10 days. The situation is completely out of control because the individuals with the protest are calling the shots. They're just standing on the streets holding signs and flags. It's terrible. We'd much rather have people burning down buildings, looting and stealing than this. The CDC is recommending a 4th dose of the vaccine amid pandemic. Weren't they going to invent that IV drip so we could just carry our IV around with us all day? Whatever happened to that? Democrats and teacher unions are working to stop a bill proposed in at least a dozen states that would require curriculum transparency in schools across the country that gives parents access to children's learning materials online, which could lead to undue censorship and backlash against educators. One teacher said, "How in the world am I going to be able to teach these children how to hate their parents if their parents knows what I'm telling them?" CNN reports that new satellite imagery of Russia shows that large bases that held Russia tank artilleries and other armor near Ukraine border has largely been emptied, with the equipment apparently being moved much closer to the front lines in recent days. Wait one gosh darn minute. You're telling me apparently? What do you mean by apparently? Apparently means nothing. That's not news. That's propaganda. Be like me telling my wife I apparently fixed the sink faucet right before it sprayed her in the face. That didn't end well. Biden said in a speech today, "I have to pee." "It's okay, Mr. President. You've got a diaper on." First Lady Jill Biden said Monday that the administration's priority of running 2 years of tuition-free community college won't be wrapped up into any social spending bill congressional Democrats tried to pass. 1 year ago, I told this group I was going to fight for community colleges, but we had to make compromises, and free community college is no longer part of that package. This is really going to hurt her re-election bid for 2024. I hope she gets something done before then. CNN reported inflation is a giant, ugly problem today. Economic report shows that consumer prices rose 6.5% in the 4th quarter alone. That is more than 3 times greater than what we saw before the pandemic. And it is the biggest increase in prices since 1981, the time of stagflation. And for millions of Americans that are living paycheck to paycheck, it's a problem that cannot be overstated. The president responded by saying, "You're lying. CNN didn't report that. That had to be Fox News." "No, Mr. President, that was CNN." As a result, the president ordered the labor secretary to fire Jeff Zucker. YouTube competitor video platform Rumble has offered Joe Rogan $100 million over a 4-year contract to switch his platform from Spotify to Rumble. Rumble CEO Chris Pulaski sent a letter to Joe Rogan. "We want to stand with you, your guest, and your legion of fans in a desire for real conversation. So we'd like to offer you 100 million reasons to make the world a better place." YouTube and Spotify has put out a $100 million ransom on Rumble CEO Chris Pulaski. Reuters reports good news. Oil prices settled down off a 7-year high on Monday by signs of progress in nuclear talks between the United States and Iran. When President Biden said he will let them build nuclear weapons, but only if they point them at the United States. the prices had dropped a whole half cents per barrel. Reuters reports that our king, Joe Biden, has saved the country once again when unemployment has reached its lowest point since 1950s, right after the Korean War. Unemployment dropped to 3%. It's easy to drop the unemployment rate when you just stop paying unemployment benefits. It doesn't mean that people actually got a job. If they did, they'd be opening the doors on the Taco Bell again. Socialist Olympic athletes are in tears over poor living conditions and lack of food at the Winter Games in Beijing. They were shocked to learn that the United States capitalist system works so much better than communist China. They learned while they were there that their history teachers have been lying to them about how great communism is. They also complained that they're not allowed to protest the horrible conditions they may face, or they may face arrest. So they started protesting about American fascism. Canada police seized fuel in an attempt to break up the trucker vaccine protest in Ottawa, Canada. Well, that'll work. They'll just keep them there forever because they won't have any gas to get out of town. Duh. Geniuses. Bruce Hyman, a former U.S. ambassador to Canada under President Barack Obama, said under no circumstances should any group in the United States have funded disruptive activities in Canada. He continued to say, how is the Republicans publicly more concerned about events in Canada than Russia? I'll tell you why, you genius. Because we trade with Canada, and there's going to be goods going back and forth. The only people that benefit from Ukraine is you politicians making millions. Duh. In case you forgot the headlines this week, it's war, 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 truckers, 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 Olympics, 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 and the all-time favorite, virus, virus, virus. CVS and Walgreens lift limits on purchases of rapid virus tests this week. This way, everyone can test positive now. VP Harris was asked, at what point do you say it's time to change the strategy in the administration? She said, it is time for us to do what we have been doing. In that time as we do everything. Every day it's time for us to agree that there are things and tools available to us to slow things down. What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things that I've ever heard, and that everyone in this room is now dumber for having heard it. Babylon Bee reports the nation is furious at a man who shared medical misinformation and said the N-word. Millions of people around the world are calling for the immediate removal and deplatforming of Joe Biden after an investigation uncovered his troubling history, sharing deadly medical misinformation and saying the N-word constantly. There are literally hours of tapes of Biden making the most disgusting racist statements and sharing dangerous information such as cloth masks work. He even said the N-word during Clarence Thomas's confirmation hearings. Nancy Pelosi said, good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed a great honor to join this tribute to the towering titan of public service, Senator Harry Reid. God bless America with the life and legacy of Harry Reid. May he rest in peace. Babylon Bee reports Justin Trudeau orders all geese rounded up and shot for honking in solidarity with the truckers. We now view the Canadian geese as an enemy of the state, Trudeau said in a statement over Zoom. Biden will begin distributing crack pipes to drug addicts for racial equity. This program will prioritize those in undeserving communities, which include blacks and LGBTQ ABT persons, per Biden's executive orders on advancing racial equity. After Biden's announcement of this new executive order, off-grid news crack reporters found that Hunter Biden will run this new program called Frequent Pipers Program. Hunter Biden said, Babylon Bee reports GoFundMe freezes funds for a child's heart surgery after finding out he supports a truckers' protest. The popular fundraising site GoFundMe has frozen funds for a local 5-year-old's heart surgery after it was discovered that the boy was a supporter of the Canadian truckers' protest. Make no mistake, we will never provide support to these white supremacist people like those truckers who want freedom from forced vaccines. Babylon Bee reports the media spreads misinformation on Joe Rogan to prevent him from spreading misinformation. The only way to fight is to spread misinformation even faster. Brian said in a passionate segment, "The difference is that we spread misinformation for your own good, unlike Joe Rogan, who just says what he believes whenever he likes. A big fat jerk. We actually have an agenda, and we know what is best for you." Glacier National Park is replacing signs that predicted the glaciers would be gone by 2020. Whoops. Babylon Bee reports Trudeau demands protesters stop shutting down the city so he can shut down the city. He said, "I promise you more mask mandates and more shutdowns and more firings. That's science," said the Prime Minister. Justin Trudeau said in a speech today, "Individuals trying to block our economy and our democracy and our fellow citizens' daily lives. It has to stop. The people of Ottawa don't deserve to be harassed, don't deserve to be confronted with inherent violence of a swastika flying on the street corners, or Confederate flags, or insults, or jeers just because they're wearing a mask. That's not who Canada and Canadians are. It's not what Canadians are. It's not what Canadians demonstrated over the past 2 years of consistently and continually being there for each other. People across the country deserve to have their safety respected." Since when is a flag inherently violent, but burning down buildings is inherently safe? I didn't get the memo. MSNBC reported it's getting too volatile in Ottawa, and most people are saying this is taking way too long, and we are now at a point where all of these trucks have a lot of fuel, and it's getting too dangerous to do much of anything. They set up a Plinko table, one of those games that you see on The Price is Right. They have an open fire pit that are burning throughout the town. They built structures on the streets to keep people warm, and a pizza oven of all things. And the other day, even one spotted organizers had 3 different saunas and a hot tub. And it's getting way too dangerous, much too dangerous. Yep, that Plinko game is way too dangerous. This is just getting way out of hand, I agree. MSNBC is calling the Ottawa protest an insurrection. Wait, what? I thought it only an insurrection when you entered the Capitol. They keep changing the definition on things. Biden's top science advisor, Eric Lander, resigns amid reports of bullying. President Biden said he was tired of that stupid SOB's behavior. Drug overdoses are costing the U.S. economy $1 trillion a year, the government report estimates. Biden said this is why we're giving away free, meaning tax-funded, crack pipes. Snoop Dogg calls the Super Bowl halftime show a dream come true. Wait, what? They're going to let Snoop Dogg do that halftime show? Don't you remember what happened when Janet Jackson had that wardrobe malfunction? Oh my goodness. Joe Biden was disappointed after he found out the IRS decided to back down from using facial recognition photos, selfies, to verify when you open an IRS account. Biden was looking forward to sniffing the pictures. A New York Post reports that the radical far-right group of men woke up at 5 a.m. Monday morning, ate breakfast, took a shower, got dressed, got in their cars, drove 15 minutes, and reported to work on time. Neil Young urges Spotify employees to quit their jobs, sleep in all day, drink all night, and collect unemployment. New Zealand protesters block streets outside of Parliament, obviously an insurrection, says MSNBC. Famous YouTuber Mark Dice reported that Joe Rogan has killed a triceratops during a hunting trip in Africa. Many people have signed a petition to arrest Joe Rogan upon his entry back into the United States for killing such a majestic beast, and thinks he should pay fines and be removed from Spotify as a result. So that's all your news that's not fit to print. Please share this with your friends on other social media sites. Click subscribe to get future updates. Thanks for watching.